Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Sake here with another episode of NASCAR Racing 2003 season. We are at my home track, the 2.5-mile rectangle-shaped Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Now, the Speedway offers some difficulty in the fact that this thing was built for open-wheel cars with a lot of downforce and not a whole lot of weight. These 3,600-pound stock cars will need to go around these same corners on tires that provide half as much grip and a car that provides 1/10 of the downforce. So Indianapolis is very fast on the straightaway but slower in the turns and presses a lot of importance on the tires themselves. And with 4X tire wear in our 2000 mod championship season here, we have to watch out for that dreaded aero push and the car to push in general. We have our first pole of the year. As you can see, pace car is ducking off. Brandon is outside pole in position 2. Let's see if we can open up on the field and run away with them here. Green flag is about to go out and green flag is in the air. A good start between myself and Brandon. 16 laps to go. 40 miles is the distance with one scheduled pit stop. Fuel can go about 10 laps, but I don't know if the tires can. So ideal strategy here is going to be splitting the race in half, 8 laps and 8 laps. We're trying to get a run on the bottom. The car slides just a bit. There goes Brandon on the outside in that Texaco Haviland Ford. We will snuggle in right in line, and Dale Earnhardt is in our draft as well. Brandon is going for his 5th win of the year. I will be going for my 6th, and it looks like Earnhardt will also be going for his 4th to try to tie Brandon. So the first 3 points leaders are up front. And Indianapolis sort of has that tradition that the winner of the Brickyard 400 tends to go on to win the championship. It's a pretty prestigious race meant for those drivers and those teams that are dialed in specifically, because this is a difficult track to set up for and not lose a whole lot of speed on. The exits of the turns come out at you very quickly. We can see exiting turn 2 here. We wash up and there's the wall right there to greet us. This long backstretch has plenty of viewing down there to the inside on the viewing mound, and inside turn 3 is a good look for those that buy the general admission ticket to prop up a lawn chair and enjoy the race from the inside at only $30 to $45. And as you can see, the stands are pretty packed. However, unfortunately for Indianapolis, the grandstand sales are not as prominent as it used to be in the late 90s. Coming down to complete lap 2, and we can see Brandon out there. We can sniff a little bit of the draft, and Earnhardt is still tucked in behind us. It looks like a 3-car battle for the lead. Pit stops may get them closer together. The main question is the AI going to go for 2 tires or 4 to try to get that clean air? Just based on testing alone, myself and Brandon agree that 4 tires is the way to go at lap 8, because both front tires show significant amounts of wear, and by that middle point of the race, the car really starts pushing, and we'll be able to see that here in a few laps. Mainly taking it easy here, pacing ourselves and getting ready for that pit stop. Pit road entry is just there on our left, and it's kind of tough to get down to pit road speed. We carry so much speed through turn 4 that to get down on the binders and get down to pit road speed is a little bit difficult, but certainly not as treacherous as coming off of a high degree of banking straight down into a pit road, say like Kentucky. We're catching Brandon just a touch, tick by tick, a lap, maybe a few tenths here, a few tenths there. It's mainly about how you drive off of these turns, which historically speaking, I'm a little bit better at Brandon on getting out of the turns, but he is much better on getting into the turns. He likes the late brake. As you can see there, he sort of gaps us a little bit on the entry of that turn. Let's see if we can catch him here on the front straightaway. Now the lead car doesn't have to put as much wheel into it. I'm starting to pick up that aero push. Not a whole lot of air is getting to my nose. It's making the engine run just a tad bit hot, and the handling is not as pristine as I would like it to be. But there goes Brandon, just a lane and a half up. Looks like he may be struggling with the first signs of a pushing race car. He drifts out wide. You don't really have to worry about loose here at Indianapolis unless you get on that apron The apron and the inside of the racetrack is unforgiving if you get your left side tires down there, as grass comes all the way up to essentially the racing line. If you misjudge that entry, you are going to be on the giggle strips down there, possibly in the grass, and there's not a whole lot of room for you to save this car up above the track. So we have to mind our P's and Q's, drive a clean race for about 4 more laps until our first and only round of pit stops, and we'll see how we shake out here. A lot of RPM down the front straightaway here. We can see our rev limiter starting to sort of kick in. We're almost on the chip. Ideally, we want to be nearly hitting the chip as we dive into turn 1. That way we're getting the most acceleration out of these gears. You can see a lot of wheel put into that race car there to maintain. I don't know if Earnhardt is experiencing the same thing I am, but I am definitely starting to push. Pit crew is recommending 1.5 cans of fuel. We're doing 4 tires no matter what, so 1.5 cans to 2 cans is acceptable, as we do have to wait for that pit crew to put on 4 tires. Yeah, looks like Brandon's handling may be going away. The counter of driving in so much is you have to rely on those front tires to bite and to do all the braking on turn entry, so he may be suffering with a tighter race car than he's used to. Conversely, I am also struggling with a tighter race car than I'm used to right here in his wake, with Earnhardt following still within a stone's throw. It's going to be tight getting on pit road, especially if Earnhardt is on the same pit strategy as we are. Looks like 2 laps to go until our middle of the ground pit stop. A lot of speed still down the back straightaway. That gives me hope that we're not losing and giving up too much speed on corner exit. If we weren't getting up to the 9,000 RPM area, I would really think about short pitting here, as the car isn't getting everything it possibly can out of it. Coming down to 9 laps to go, still running second within a stone's throw of Brandon, and a stone's throw back to Earnhardt. So still a pretty competitive race. Anything can happen. One mistake by any of us can shake up the top 3. Brandon a little wide there, scrapes the wall just a touch. I don't believe that's going to be a cause of concern for the pit crew to repair, just a little fender crinkle here and there. However, in reality, a fender crinkle could be devastating, especially on the right front, as you demand so much of the right front to help pivot the car. Yeah, Brandon might be struggling with the tighter race car. I'm rolling off the gas just a touch sooner than usual to help that turn, but I can definitely feel the ailing car. Let's come down for pit stops this time. A pretty much straight braking in, and there we go. 4,000 is the limit. Looks like we have lap cars leaving their pit stalls. We want to be extremely careful here. Let me get behind Kenny Irwin Jr. and let him get to the top. We'll settle in behind Robert Presley, and he will get to the top, and that will leave a clear entry for Brandon. However, Brandon's pit stall is right in front of mine, so I have to actually go around Brandon here, give up a little bit to make sure that I get all 4 tires in the box and clean. But luckily, these are pretty big pit stalls. Here we go, boys. 4 tires and fuel, if you please. Right sides are up, fairly good. I don't hear any pounding on the sheet metal, so damage was not a factor. One benefit of having this first pit stall is I have a straight exit out. Let's go, let's drop the clutch. The car's starting to bog down. A few pumps of the clutch to spin the tires a bit. Looks like Brandon and Earnhardt are side by side. We have to use this access road all the way to turn 2, and that may be tight. The car is extremely loose down here at the bottom, so, whoop, see, I'm sort of dancing with the car there. Earnhardt is trying to pressure me as much as he can. Let's drop it into 4th gear. Let's get on the back straightaway, and let's see where we settle. We have 4 cars under a blanket here. Myself, Brandon, Earnhardt, and Jarrett for the top 4 right off of pit road, and we have great tires now and clean air. This is our time to shine for 8 more laps. So now I can sort of ride my pace, and I don't have anyone behind me really to pressure. Brandon is hanging right there. If we do make a mistake, he will probably capitalize on that quicker. But the recommendation is no fuel, so I will go to our leaderboard and see what kind of laps we can click off here. and also see the interval between myself and Brandon in that 28. He's gotten clear of Earnhardt and Jarrett, so it looks like a 2-car race. I just have to sort of mind my entry and my exit, and hope Brandon doesn't dump us or take us out, but we've been racing together for long enough that that will not be the case, at least not on purpose. We're not at the point where we will intentionally move one another and wreck one another to get a win, and if either of us win, that is gravy, as we are taking away bonus points from the other drivers when it comes to the first round of the chase, and basically ensuring that both of us at least get to round 2, barring anything extraordinary happening in the first round. Never too early to start thinking about the chase. I believe we've locked in mathematically, as well as Brandon and as well as Earnhardt and Jarrett for sure. So as much as we can win, the better, to pad that differential exiting Richmond. We had to get out of the gas just a bit there. I believe Brandon may catch us on corner entry. I have to be extremely mindful. I do roll out a lot earlier than Brandon does when it comes to corner entry, so I'm sort of minding where he is in the grand scheme of things. He's leering right there in the mirror. He's keeping us honest for sure. We're not going to leave him. Brandon and I practiced, and Brandon was actually a few tenths faster than me in practice, so he certainly has a fast race car and can capitalize on anything we do that is out of the ordinary. We are a few seconds off of our fastest lap of the race. Of course, that factors into drafting help as well, so Brandon is probably now ticking off his fastest laps of the race, sort of hanging in our draft and getting the pull down these very long straightaways. He's holding about a tenth off of us, 0.13 seconds hanging back there. Have to be honest, can't miss anything, and then if a caution were to come out, then we're all corralled back together, and we haven't put that many cars a lap down, I don't believe, so there will still be a lot of competitors vying for this shot. It really helped us out to be qualifying on the front row. We were able to get clear and in single file fairly quickly and pull away from that big pack of cars who are side by side and stealing each other's ideal racing line. We're drifting up a bit. Brandon is hugging that bottom relentlessly. He's trying to get some air on the left front of that nose, try to pin down those front tires and get that car to pivot. He is definitely our equal. Anything that we do wrong, he will jump on us for sure. We can catch a glimpse of some lap traffic in front of us. I saw a little bit of a hint of a car going into turn 3 when we were on the back straightaway. I don't know if lap traffic will be a factor. The laps are clicking down at about a minute a lap, so there's only about 4 minutes left in this race. I don't know if we can catch them in 4 minutes or not. Either way, we have to maintain our honesty. We have to drive conscientious for these next 3 laps and just maintain what we got. We're washing up just a little bit. This is the point in the run where the tires are really starting to show wear and starting to fall off. You really have on 4X tire wear about 3 to 4 laps of the good, and then you really have to slow down. You really have to start turning the wheel hard in order to get through the turns, and we are catching them. They are getting much bigger in our windshield. We don't want to chop the entry. It's sort of a habit of mine to shorten up the corner to be too far to the left on corner entry, and of course that will hurt our entry speed as we have to really slow down in the middle of the corner, which can be capitalized on very quickly. We're up to 2/10 over Brandon now. Let's see where we are this coming lap. All right, so we might be gapping Brandon just a bit. His tires may have fallen off. He may have been trying too hard to pass us, but this lap traffic may prove difficult. If we catch them in a bad spot, Brandon can definitely reel us back in very quickly, and then we will have a race on our hands. Let's see if we can get a good pull from these lap cars, see if we can gain any more speed out of them, and that's not what I want to see right there. With them going too wide, both of our lines are gone. We can't go around their outside, and we can't go to their inside. Hopefully I catch them here on a straightaway and I can put them... Oh! The 14 is pitting. Okay, so that helps us get around him. If they came off that turn side by side, that would have been forcing us to the bottom right by the wall, and if Brandon caught a good break, he would have been right there pushing us. 1 lap to go. Brandon is right there on our bumper. We're sliding up, don't want to hit the wall. It's really loose. I'm trying to keep him behind us as best I can. I don't see any other cars out the windshield, so it's just me, the track, and Brandon to decide this thing. Geez, I hope I don't screw this up. This is my track. I've been waiting for Indianapolis all year as sort of a guaranteed win or a very strong shot. And as we learned from J.R. Hillenbrand in the Indy 500, it's not over until it's over. Let's get a good turn in here. Brandon is still right there. He's dropped back just a bit. I believe he checked up massively to avoid hitting us. Good on you, teammate. Thank you for not dumping me. But, ladies and gentlemen, Indianapolis is ours for win number 6 on the year. And look at these idiots down here who pitted with 1 lap to go. That certainly might shake up the standings. I see Terry Labonte down there, and I see Mark Martin down there. Here comes Brandon to our inside there. Whew. An honest race, I will say that for sure. Any mistake that we would have made would have been it. But Jarrett in 3rd, Earnhardt in 4th, Rusty Walsh, Jeff Burton, Gordon Stewart, Martin, and Ward. Burton is your top 10 with 15 cars on the lead lap. Jerry Nadeau with a solid run. Junior, unfortunately, going a lap down there. Kenny Irwin Jr. with a top 20. He is our back marker in the point standings. Old Jerry Nadeau, or old Kenny Irwin Jr. needs all the points he can get, and Rick Mast is shotgun on the field. Well, we cannot leave Indianapolis without a few donuts. Sorry, Ryan Blaney. I know you're very traditional, but Ryan Blaney is a big fan of keeping the car in one piece, not destroying it when you win, especially your first win, but this is our 6th, and we're going to act like we've never won one before. Let's see if we can do an old Kevin Harvick style burnout here. Oh, come on now. The car is not cooperating. Come on, you can do it. There we go. There we go. Now well, okay. So my burnout needs work. But we've laid down some rubber on the track. Outstanding. Not that great, but we can at least kiss those bricks. Let's take a look at those pit stops, though. That, I believe, if we had to assign a move of the race, our pit crew would have won us that one for sure. We came in behind Brandon here on the underside of the 42, and there's Earnhardt pitting. Brandon gets to his stall, then Earnhardt. And then the crew coming around to get my left side tires. Earnhardt leaves, and there we go. There's the race off. We have a straight shot. Brandon has that inside line, and it's side by side off pit road. Myself, Brandon, and Earnhardt. That's tight racing there. And in this turn, I about lose it. Let's see how big it is. Yeah, you can see that rear end kicked out right there. Good stuff. But let's take a look at the chase standings as they are here after Indianapolis. I have 6 wins. Brandon is 2nd with 4 wins. Earnhardt and Jarrett tied with 3. Gordon and Stewart tied with 2. Jeff Burton has left the field running, but a jostling there for 16th. Junior drops to 16th. Sterling makes up 2 spots. And Elliott is over a race out now, so Awesome Bill from Dawsonville needs to win to get it done. But that's going to do it for me in this episode, ladies and gentlemen, of NASCAR Racing 2003 season. Like, share, and subscribe if you are so bold. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you on the track next Thursday. Take care.